Two Maine authors turned a casual breakfast chat into a movement. Frustrated by the challenges of promoting their work on their own, they created a collective that's giving dozens of local writers a stronger voice and a stronger community. Logan Hoffman takes us inside No Shelf Control.
It started with breakfast, coffee, and a shared frustration.
Writing is such a lonely endeavor.
That conversation between Maine authors Danielle Bannister and Carly Packard turned into No Shelf Control, a group for writers across the state. Much of the focus is helping authors promote their books.
If I can help save some authors some money on some of the many mistakes I've made over the years, I'm gonna say something to them.
From just 6 members at the start to now 40 and counting, the group hosts book events with several authors at a time.
It's the ability to talk to multiple people at the same time, not feel pressured because it's one lonely author or 2 authors in a bookstore.
That's a real struggle when you're an author, is trying to get your work out there to people who've never heard of you before.
The group is growing without charging members a fee, thanks to a self-designed tote bag helping fund promotion.
There's definitely a lot of costs that go into publishing, so anything that we can do to kind of thwart that extra fee, we try to do for our group.
For more information on the group, you can head to our website. Logan Hoffman, WABI News, Belfast.